Research shows us that 80% of women feel anxiety over some aspect of childbirth. As much as 14% of women may have tocophobia, which is a severe fear of birth. This will lead to requested cesarean sections, desired for general anesthesia, or avoidance of pregnancy altogether. I think it's time we talk about this through the lens of a believer. Often when anxiety manifests, it stems from an underlying fear. I think of fear as like the core or the center of a thought process, and the anxiety being the peripheral manifestation of it. Fear can be thought of as an emotion, so it's subconscious, and it's caused by a belief about a specific pain, a danger, threat. Whereas anxiety is a feeling, so that's more conscious than an emotion that's subconscious. And anxiety is caused by worry about generalized uncertainty. An example of this might be I'm nervous, which is a conscious feeling of anxiety, right? So I'm nervous about going hiking in the woods, which is very general. Because I am afraid, which is this intrinsic emotion of fear, because I'm afraid of being bit by a snake. So that's very specific. So my fear is a fear of being bit by a snake. And it causes me to be anxious in environments where I might come in contact with one. And you could see how that would hinder a lot of different opportunities just by holding that belief or that fear at my core. In the birth world, it might play out like this. I'm nervous, which is that feeling of anxiety. I'm nervous about having a baby, generalization, because I'm afraid. We're getting to the core emotion of fear. And what am I afraid of? I'm afraid of tearing during birth. That's very specific. So as a birth worker, when I hear mama say things like, I'm afraid of the unknown, or I'm afraid of what might happen, those are very general. And what I'm really hearing them say is I feel like I'm not in control. There's just this general uncertainty of expectation, and it's causing feelings of angst as labor and birth nears. Likewise, when I hear I'm scared about the pain of labor, or I'm nervous about the process of giving birth, I'm really hearing I believe I'm unprepared. Okay, so there is something specific there. There is a fear of maybe the pain in labor or the process of giving birth because I've not been made aware of what to expect. So there's something specific that I can begin a discussion about that may decrease their fear, help them feel prepared as we build realistic expectations, which will in turn encourage and empower them. Okay, so we kind of got a foundation of understanding of fear and anxiety. Yet both worldly fear and anxiety most often stem from the desire to know or control that which is out of our realm of knowledge or control. Okay, so this is an enticement to take what is only Yahweh's, what is only His to know. We can see this from the very beginning. Let's go back to Genesis. We can see that there's a tree of knowledge of good and evil, and Eve is enticed by the desire to know things that weren't really hers to know. But this was appealing, and she gave in, and we know the consequence of her indulging in that desire. She wasn't better off, and in fact, her knowing caused all of humanity to be riddled with anxiety because we're able to see things now that Yahweh God had originally protected us from. I want you to understand this important point. We were created to fear, but instead we have exchanged that with the spirit of fear. And that is not from Yahweh. 2 Timothy 1:7 says, "For Yahweh gave us a spirit not of fear, but of power, love, and self-control." So perhaps we need to shift our mindset from the needing to know or the controlling aspect, and instead marvel at the fact that it is the glory of God to conceal things, where the knowledge that belongs to the world causes wavering anxiety, and we can see that in the world today. It causes wavering anxiety. Yahweh says there's one thing we should know, and this one thing that we need to know causes stillness, not anxiety. And that's knowing Him, and that He is God and we are not. Again, we were created to fear, and it's the object of our fear that will dictate our steadiness. In Isaiah 8, it says, "Let God be your fear and your anxiety, and He will become our sanctuary, our source of peace, our refuge." So I implore you, sister, in the garden of your labor, let's not eat of the low-hanging, anxious-inducing fruit of what ifs, okay? What ifs don't exist. There's not another reality. Yahweh is sovereign, and nothing is outside of His intentional purposes for you. So sisters, let's fix our gaze, okay? Yeshua is the remedy to all of our anxieties and the world's spirit of fear. Thank you for watching. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Love any questions or challenges as well.